And Samsung and LG are scaling this to beautiful TVs now. You can go into Best Buy on Route 1 and buy an OLED TV for a measly $5,800, so it has to drop a little bit more. But imagine this image, though, in a big TV, and some of you guys I know have seen that. But now let me take us all off into, and let's become designers of technology. What's coming next? I said these organic molecules are really very simple and elegant. You coat them. So we can actually coat them on plastic. We can coat them on thin sheets of plastic. We don't have to put them on glass. And actually, this really nice Netgear that I'm sporting up here is an OLED display also. And this Netgear just started being sold by Samsung, and this display is built on a thin piece of plastic. So you can see how the form factor now, it's curved a little bit, just bent a little bit to go around my wrist there. But what if you could imagine you put this OLED display, these are organic molecules, so they don't fracture, they don't break. They're organic, they're flexible. They're not rubber, but they're very flexible. So I ask everybody in this room to think about what you would do if someone were to sell you a display, you could roll up. Actually, as a woman, I think this is extremely attractive because I don't have pockets in my suits, So my cell phone, I'm always holding on to it. But if I truly had this cell phone on my wrist that was rolled up, and then I could take it off my wrist, or it's sitting in my purse or in my pocket or something, and I have this nice little compact cell phone, and then I could fold it out to be very big, and I can use that. That's really attractive. And that's where this technology is going. Samsung right now is talking about their next cell phone to come out on plastic, and the edge of the cell phone is going to be bent like this. Now, I ask everybody, and when I tell you the reason, maybe it makes sense to you, and see if you as consumers would want to buy it. Why would you imagine you want your display to go across the edge like that?
Large format?
Yep. Or unintrusive watching your cell phone. All of us, when you're in a meeting or you're in a social event, you get a text, and you're kind of trying to look at it and try to see if you can look at it. Well, right now, this Netgear, I can actually cheat very easily because I get a text or a cell phone, I can glance and see the person's name, and then I can decide whether I want to dive into my cell phone. So maybe you notice I'm doing it, maybe you don't. But what Samsung's hoping with this next form factor, they can't do a total roll-up yet as a mass market. There's some technology still to be done there. But think about this. If you had this little edge, so your text could come up on there, you could see a name or you could see a cell phone just at the corner of your eye, off on this edge. Would it make you go buy a new cell phone? Samsung's hoping. We're hoping. But that is really, and this is why organic LEDs, I think, are going to take off to any end right now in the smartphone market, because the manufacturers are trying to figure out how to get us to buy the next one. And several things this plastic does. It's the weight, too. So how would I use a lighter weight cell phone? Well, interestingly, one of Apple's, and I think it is a very important design factor, the materials they make the iPhone out of are very, very rich in feeling. And a lot of people have thought, this Galaxy, maybe it's not quite as rich, the plastic pieces and whatnot. So people do like a weight in your smartphone. You want to feel like it's important, not just a very thin, flimsy plastic thing. So then we think, what else could we do? If we have a thin, lightweight display, you can pack a whole bunch more battery in there. So then the charging of your cell phone, so we do ultra-thin plastic, then I can just put lots of batteries in it. And both LG and Samsung actually are selling curved cell phones right now, mostly in Korea. The LG Flex has come to the US, and this is another fun design feature because I think it's due to patents, but Samsung's, let me get this right. Yeah, LG's cell phone curves this way. Samsung's cell phone curves this way. So the joke actually in my community is that LG has made a cell phone for the back pocket, and Samsung has made a cell phone for the front pocket. But it's actually very interesting because something else with that curve, which you might not think about until you're holding your cell phone. If you're holding a cell phone with a curve, it actually is more immersive to us. And it's hard to quite imagine if you're not holding it, but if your cell phone curved a little bit, You're outside, the sunlight's not hitting it so bad. You don't get so many reflections. And so the design features coming with organic LED to come to TVs, they're making curved TVs today, 55-inch curved TVs. And it really is, when you see these new products, they really are more immersive to us. You watch a video on your cell phone, it's got a little bit of a curve. It really does draw you in a little bit more. So that's what we're doing with our science and technology in the flat panel display market. So let's talk about lighting. So let's talk about lighting. In this room, we have light bulbs and all sorts of lighting aspects. So many of you may have LEDs now, lights in your houses. Do you like them?
No.
It's very cold. It's very eerie feeling.
Yeah.
Other people have same experience, but you bought it because it's energy efficient, right? It's not as bright, and it's also in white light. There's yellow white light and blue white light. So we call that cool white, and in the energy spectrum, that means it has a very high color temperature. It's what we call 5,000 Kelvin. And the warm white that actually in this country in Europe we're much more comfortable with actually is a yellowish white. It's just how the society and what we've been brought up in. So if we go back to when I was talking about the molecules, and when we were speaking in the networking session before, Colin, you were talking about how do we tune color in the organic molecules. Well, in an LED, that's a semiconductor device. That's an inorganic LED. To change the color that that inorganic LED gives off, you have to go back into the semiconductor and you have to change the semiconductor structure. And you can tune that a certain energy space, but you don't have as much flexibility as you do with these organic molecules, because what we can do with the organic molecule, I can change a fragment of that molecule and stick what we call, it's called an organic ligand. I can just change how some of that structure is done and hook it up a different way, and it will emit a different color of light. So now I have here, this is a organic LED that we made. Oh, I skipped our story moving off Princeton University, Ewing, New Jersey, by the way. We're located in Ewing, New Jersey, in the Educational Testing Center complex there. And there I have a team of about 100 or so researchers and engineers, and we have offices globally in Seoul and Tokyo and in Beijing and in Hong Kong, where I have additional scientists and engineers. Part of my team in Ewing, what we're doing right now is doing research on making OLED light sources. And this will, about 2 weeks ago, we just announced a commercial agreement with Philips in this area. And this sort of industry here, if you look at this and you think about your LED, so we can tune this very sensitively. We can tune it just, what we call in light emission space, it's a wavelength. We can tune this on any wavelength, and we can dim it down nicely. I'll let you play around with that. And also, again, touch it. Because that is giving off the optical energy of about a 60-watt light bulb. And it's room temperature. It's absolutely room temperature. Think about, we're all lighting designers. And all the design firms in the US, a lot of designers in Manhattan actually come into UDC to start thinking about how they're going to interact with this new form of light. Because organic LEDs for lighting sources are coming our way. And several things, not only, if you think about this, it's flat. Do we like that? It's probably going to take a little getting used to. But now, think with me. You can notice, did you notice that one little dark spot? The center there? If this was a light bulb, this would be burnt out. So this technology also has fault tolerant. We have a little short in the filament, you can call it, but the whole thing doesn't go out. But now dream of what we would do as designers. So let's say we're designing a whole new lighting for our house or our office. Now put it on plastic. So you think about it. I have a lampshade. I have a focused light source. And maybe I could just reconfigure it in my house. Probably one of the most fun things, and there's a lot of trade shows globally now where Osram, Philips, a lot of the Asian lighting manufacturers, Panasonic, GE used to be doing a little bit of research, are building these large area OLED lighting prototype centers, and it's just comfortable. And then you think about this, I could just carry my light source with me, Think about if I could Velcro it, I could really transport it. And here's where I'm going to wrap up and just say the adventure really that I myself and Universal Display Corporation has gone on is really getting the opportunity to start with the basic science and technology. So our relationships with the universities are ever critical to our business program. We invest a lot of R&D money into sponsoring university collaborations because getting those ideas into a framework, into a technology position that then we can then figure out how to move it off into the business world. And really what we're trying to do as a US-based company is really look out after that mountain, above that mountain, before all the large electronics companies and large lighting companies are figuring out what they need. We want to really position it to be able to deliver to them the ideas and have the patent protection and the intellectual property and everything behind it, so our company can, of course, share in the future of this, but really trying to enable, in the true entrepreneurial U.S. spirit, taking our ideas and enabling them across the globe with the technology and working with people all over the world. And that's really where all of this comes to completion. It was Sherwin interacting with a person, with Mark Thompson in Princeton University. It was Princeton University actually agreeing to go into a business relationship with Universal Display Corporation. They gave us an exclusive license to all the intellectual property that was developed at Princeton University. That enabled our company to go public in 1996. And then really through that academic industrial partnership and moving through to today has created a really neat company for us. And I hope all of you, this is not pressure, but who don't have a Galaxy phone will now run out and buy one. But I truly thank you for your attention and story.